Hi, my name's George Grijalva and I'm a carpet cleaner just like you. And this is my ReStretch DVD Part 1. Now, I am so excited to share this with you because I remember my first ReStretch as though it was yesterday. I was at this job and I just finished my repair and reinstallation course with the IICRC by Sherman Guffey, so I was all pumped up. And this customer said, "Hey, can you take those wrinkles out?" And I said, "Sure I can." So I went and bought myself a power stretcher and all the tools that I was going to need. And it's so funny because when I was doing that job, I was spending so much time out at my van reading the directions because I had no idea what I was doing. Now I put together this video for you so you don't have to go through anything that I did. And you're going to love this because these are all real jobs, no classroom stage situations. Now also you're going to want to watch for my ReStretch DVD Part 2 and Part 3 in high definition. But you know what? This is going to at least give you more information than I had.
Okay, the tools that you're going to need for this job are a power stretcher, a rubber mallet, stair tool, carpet awl, and a knee kicker. And don't forget your trusty carpet knife. Okay, here's the situation. The carpet is pulling away from the tile about 2 inches. We're not sure what caused this, but I think it was some kind of animal. Now remember, this is a repair, so we have to be creative in how we're going to correct this for the customer. They're trying to avoid not having to replace their carpet. So let's see what we can come up with.
Okay, this job here, we clean the carpets. It's a condo that they're getting ready for somebody to move into. And we made about $300 on this job here. And that's great, but I'm going to show you how to take a $300 job to a $450 job. They have a ReStretch that I was just showing you that they need to have done where the carpet's not meeting up where the tile goes. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to use my staple gun to secure that area over there to make sure when I make this stretch that it doesn't pull away from the tile at the entry. So come on with me. We have a concrete subfloor, but I'm putting these staples into the tack strip so that this won't pull away, because you've got to make a pretty strong stretch. Make sure when you're using your staple gun that you're putting your pressure on it and it's going all the way in. And I'm doing it about every inch because I don't want this to pull off at all. This is what we call a carpet repair. When you're doing a carpet repair, you're doing creative ways to make sure that you can correct this situation, or at least make it a lot better for the customer. So now that I've done that, we're going to make our stretch.
Okay, now that we've stapled the carpet down on the other end, you'll notice that I'm using the power stretcher and I'm pushing off of that door back there. Well, it is a commercial metal door, so it's very solid. I wouldn't recommend that you do this on a bedroom door. You want to make sure that you're pushing off a wall that has studs in it. Be careful if you're doing it in a mobile home because you could push right through the wall. Now you see my thumb right there? What I'm doing is I'm locking the ReStretcher into place. That's one way that you can lock the ReStretcher. Once you actually get the tension where you want, you just push on that little lever with your thumb and it'll hold it into place. Now I'm going to take my duckbill scissors and I'm going to trim up all the secondary and primary backing. This is what is the giveaway that I think that it was a dog or a cat that has done this, is because they've just chewed at it or they've dug at it to create where they've actually tore apart the carpet where there's a hole that has 2 inches away from the tile. Now once you've cleaned up all the secondary and primary backing, you'll be able to see what you're going to be working with, and it already looks better. It just looks like an old man who's got a gray beard. So we need to trim that beard, and then you'll be able to actually stretch the carpet and be able to tuck it in between the tile and the tack strip. And so let's go ahead and see what happens when we take our stair tool and we tuck in that edge. Now you'll notice it's really starting to look good right away. I mean, we stretched that about maybe 2 to 3 inches, And now I'm going to take my stair tool and I'm going to tap it into the edge. Now when you're doing this, you want to be really careful that you don't chip the tile. Do not chip the tile. You don't want to create any secondary damage. That would be really bad. Because I only charged like $150 for this, and that tile could end up costing like $1,000. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, so you want to really pay attention to what you're doing. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking the electric staple gun and I'm stapling that carpet into the tack strip, because this is a repair. Now, normally you wouldn't do this when you're installing carpet. Usually what you do is you just stretch it in to the tack strip and place it between the tile and the tack strip with your stair tool, and you just tap it in on the edge there. But because this is a repair, we have to get a little bit more creative, and so we're actually going to be locking that down with that staple gun so that this doesn't pull out, because I had to stretch it a lot. Now you'll notice that I have the pole stretched across the room pushing off that door, and this time I didn't actually use the little thumb lever. I actually pushed the handle down the entire way, and that's a really good way to hold your stretch too. It just takes practice. You just got to play around with this tool. It's really easy to use. It's very effective, and you're going to be able to help some customers out. You're not going to be able to do this with a knee kicker. If you tried to knee kick this, you're not going to get the results that you want to get. It's actually not even going to move. There's just too much space between the tile and the carpet. Now once again, I'm taking the electric staple gun and I'm stapling the carpet onto the tack strip. Now remember, this is a concrete subfloor, so you can't staple this into the concrete because you would need concrete nails. And so in this case, what I'm doing is I'm being creative and I'm stapling into the wood tack strip that is actually attached to the concrete. And this is working out really nice. And this customer is going to be really pleased with this. They thought they were going to have to replace their carpet, and that would have cost them a lot more money. So what I'm creating here is a loyal customer that's going to, use us for repeat business and probably also recommend our company. And this was really simple to do. I mean, looking at what I'm doing, don't you think any of you guys could do this? I mean, you just need the tools. That's all you need. So you need to go get these tools if you don't have them and put them to work. Once you actually have these tools, your first job's going to pay for them. And what I was just doing right there, I was knee kicking one area because it was really easy to do. You're going to learn where you can knee kick, where you need to power stretch, and it's just by starting to get these jobs. Look for situations that you can correct like this, and then you're going to get a reputation that not only are you a carpet cleaner, but you're also somebody who can do repairs as well. And I love doing repairs. I mean, I would rather do repairs than clean carpet. But you know what? The combination of both is really great. So once again, what am I doing? I'm using my staple gun, attaching the carpet, because I don't want this to pull up again. I want this repair to last for the new renter that's moving in. And I mean, I just can't even wait to show the owner of this condo what we've done, because they really thought they were going to have to replace their carpet. Okay, now we got to move the power stretcher because we've only got a short distance in between the door there where I can move that power stretcher maybe about 3 to 4 feet. Well, the repair goes a little bit further to the right, so what I've done is I've moved the power stretcher and I placed that foot on that corner wall. And then I'm going to adjust my poles so that I have the power stretcher head right where I want it. And so what I would recommend that you do is just open up your power stretcher, play with it in your living room or your family room at your house, get used to what it does and how it works, how the poles lock into each other. And this right here is an adjusting head. And so what I mean by that is I can actually move the head of the power stretcher forward and backwards with this locking mechanism. And most of your power stretchers come with it, and so just play around with it and you'll get the feel of it. It's really not that hard. So now I'm making my stretch. Now you'll notice that I was pushing my thumb on that little lever there, but you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and lay the handle down on this one. That's actually my favorite way to use the power stretcher. And now I've locked it into place. I'm taking my stair tool and I'm tapping it into the edge. And once again, be really careful not to chip the tile. You don't want to create any secondary damage. And this is starting to look really good. I'm excited about this. I just love when I can get to a situation and I can help the customer And you know what? I'm not breaking a sweat here. I mean, this is taking like, what, maybe 15 minutes. And I did charge $150 for this. And like I said, we cleaned their carpets for $300. And so this was an easy add-on to take our $300 job to a $450 job. And you know, I might even charge a little more for this next time. It's just hard to say. You've got to judge what you're going to be correcting. And it's just, you know, using common sense how you're going to price it out, the work that's involved. And you'll notice that there's secondary and primary backing. You want to make sure that you trim that out. Yeah, for some reason, I don't understand, but the customer, whenever they see secondary or primary backing sticking out, they think that it wasn't done properly. Then once again, take your staple gun and attach your carpet to the tack strip so that way it won't pull away from the tile once your repair is finished. And now I'm going to grab my knee kicker, and I'm going to see if I can actually tap on this edge right here and correct this situation with my knee kicker. I'm not sure. I got to pull that carpet up first and see what I'm dealing with. But you know what? It looks pretty good. I think I'm going to be able to do this with the knee kicker. I don't think I'm going to be able to use the knee kicker. I'm going to have to move the power stretcher and adjust it. You're going to be able to get a lot better results using a machine like this. And you're going to notice how I take the power stretcher and I just kind of play with it and determine how much stretch I need to put on this carpet. You can't just lay it down and put down the handle. I mean, you could rip the carpet. So it's just really just getting a feel for how much stretch you need to put on it. And I got it in place. I made my stretch, and it looks like I made the exact amount of stretch that I needed. Now I'm tapping it into the edge near the tile. Remember, be very careful. Do not chip the tile. You don't want any secondary damage. But isn't this looking so much better than the 2-inch gap that we had prior to this? And this has taken like maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And if I wasn't teaching you guys how to do this, who knows? Possibly it might have even took like, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It just depends on the situation. Whenever you're doing a repair like this, you want to price it out according to what the situation is. If the customer is going to have to replace their carpet and it's going to cost a couple grand to do that, asking $300 to do a repair for them is not a lot of money if you have the skill to be able to correct situations like this. It just depends. You just got to get a good feel of what to charge, what not to charge. You don't want to take advantage of the customer. You want to make sure that it's a win-win. And just remember, you can skin a sheep only once, but you can shear it for life. So what that means is if you charge a customer too much money, they may never use you again, and they may tell other people not to use you. So you want to make sure that whenever you're charging people, that it's actually a win-win for not only you but the customer, so that they want to recommend you to other people. Now it's starting to look really good. You take your stair tool and you press down the primary and secondary backing onto the tack strip. Once again, I'm using the staple gun to hold the carpet into place. Now, if this was a new installation, you would never do that. This is a repair, so just remember, you can get a little more creative when you're doing repairs. Now, I've got two other areas right here that need to be reattached. I don't know if I can do it with the knee kicker or if I'm going to need the power stretcher, but I would probably assume I'm going to need the power stretcher. Yep, I need the power stretcher. So let's put the power stretcher into place. I laid the handle down. I got my stretch. And now I'm going to just tuck that edge of that carpet into the tile using my stair tool and my rubber mallet. I love those tools. Those tools really come in handy. Now, what I've done, does it look that difficult? I mean, do you think you can do it? I mean, it's pretty simple. I think the secret to doing repairs is just using common sense and having the right tools. If you don't have the right tools, that's when it really makes it difficult. When you do, it just makes it so much easier, and it gives you the confidence to be able to tackle situations like this. So I'm moving the head of the power stretcher again. I'm making my stretch, and you see I'm in a rhythm now. I just knew where to put the head of that power stretcher. I knew how much stretch to give it. I'm just putting the edge in between the tile and the tack strip, grabbing the staple gun, attaching the carpet so it doesn't pull away. And like I said, just remember, this is a repair, and you know what? This customer is going to be thrilled with the job. They're not going to have to replace their carpet. Now I'm taking my stair tool and I'm pressing down the secondary and primary backing onto the tack strip to lock it in place even more. And I just can't wait to show the customer this situation because they really thought that they were not going to be able to get this corrected. And it just feels so good to be able to save the day here. And you're going to be able to do this too. So I want you guys to log on to my website at carpetcleaningtradesecrets.com. And I want you to go to my testimonials page, and I want to hear about jobs that you guys are correcting out there. Now you'll notice I'm getting the primary backing, even the little tiny pieces. You don't want to leave anything behind because you know what? You want the customer to really like the work that you've done. And if they can point out, oh, well, what about this primary and secondary backing sticking out? You know, that's just going to be frustrating when you just did so much hard work. So just make sure you're trimming out the secondary and primary backing. And another thing too is you can see this little edge right here. It's a little dirty. So get your favorite spot cleaner or hook up your truck mount and clean up the edges again. And you know what? You just want to make sure that you leave a really good taste in the customer's mouth. So here we go. This is our final project. It's looking really good. I mean, compared to the 2 inches that was pulled away from that tile, I mean, look at this. I mean, this customer is going to love us. They're going to want to recommend us. They're going to use us again. They're probably going to go to work or to their family and friends and say, oh my gosh, you know, I have this condo that I use as rent out. It's an investment property. And the renters there, they ruined my new carpet over by the tile. It was pushed away or pulled away about by 2 inches. And I hired this company to come and clean my carpets. And they also corrected the situation between the carpet and the tile. And you never know. Those people might have a repair that they need done at their house. They might know of somebody who has a repair that needs to be done. They may need to have their carpets cleaned. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking my duckbill scissors. Those are awesome. If you don't have any of those, get some because I was just tucking in the edge a little better there. I didn't need to have my stair tool. And you know, this turned out to be really good. I took a $300 job and I turned it into a $450 job in about 20 minutes. And you could do the exact same thing.
Now this next job, the customer was living with these wrinkles in their living room for over 5 years, and it was driving him crazy. These wrinkles are huge, so I couldn't wait to help him with this situation. Now remember, we're not installing brand new carpet with a warranty, so there are no standards here. All you can do is be creative and do whatever it takes to help the customer get those wrinkles out. So we can actually use a spike on our power stretcher.
Now this is a pretty big ReStretch job. You can see those large wrinkles. They're about 15 feet long. To get started, grab your carpet awl, and the first thing you want to do is pop out your vents. Once you got the vents pop out, I want you to grab your knee kicker and release the tension and then stick your carpet awl in to the carpet and pull the carpet back. We have to make sure that we uninstall this carpet so that we can take our power stretcher and stretch those wrinkles into that wall over there. Now the secret to a ReStretch is making sure that you unattach the carpet anywhere where there's going to be tension. If we would have left that piece of carpet there tucked in, then we may not have been able to stretch the carpet properly. Now you can take your knee kicker and you can start moving those wrinkles the direction that we want to ReStretch them, just to start getting it going in the right direction. Or you can take your power stretcher and you can do the exact same thing. Either one is effective. The secret is just choosing which technique is right for the job. And in this case, because the wrinkles are so big, I think the power stretcher is actually the tool for the job. So I'm just moving the carpet in the direction that I want to actually ReStretch it. Another technique that I like to use is called the hop and push. Hop and push, hop and push. And what you're doing is you're actually moving the carpet in the direction that you want it to go. Now let's get ready to ReStretch. Let's put our ReStretcher together. Now the piece that I'm putting on right now on the stretcher head is an adjustable pole. And this goes up and down and it's adjustable so that way I can maneuver the power stretcher head wherever I want it very easily. So I'm going to put it over in the corner and then I'm going to grab the other poles and start piecing this together. Now keep in mind this is a repair and look how big this room is. It would be really difficult for me to be able to push off any of the walls in this room with the foot pad. So I'm actually going to have to use a spike. And you know what? This is a repair, so when you're doing a repair, you have to be creative, so it is okay to use a spike. New carpet should be installed according to industry standards. These standards do not always apply to carpet repairs and restretching. The carpet spike is a tool that can be used to make many difficult repairs and restretches. When deviating from industry standards, be sure to get the customer's consent. Okay, now I got the spike in place. You know what, I'm going to start using the double spike instead of the single spike, but in this video I'm using the single spike and that works just fine. Now you grab the head of the power stretcher and you stick the spike into the subfloor. If they have a concrete floor, you're going to have a block of wood with some spikes on the bottom of it and have somebody stand on it. Now you'll notice when I sunk the spike into the subfloor, I put it just past the second large wrinkle that I want to stretch. That's very important. Now you'll notice that I'm putting my body weight on the handle and I'm pushing the little lever to hold my stretch in place. So now I've made my stretch, all I have to do is tuck in the carpet into the corner. Now you really got to make sure that your spike is stuck securely into the subfloor. If it's not, it will rip the primary and secondary backing and that will create secondary damage.
Okay, once you got your stretch locked in place, and you do a pretty good stretch and make sure that you see the wrinkles are going out of this section, what to do is help the carpet move up a little bit by dragging your feet. Then what you want to do, come over here, is you want to get this carpet locked into place, because then it'll hold the stretch. Sometimes you have to use your rubber mallet, but in this case we don't have to. If you can't get it done there nice and easy, use your rubber mallet. Then you've got the fireplace area here. Get that all tucked in. What I'll do is I'll knee kick that little spot. You want to make it look like a brand new install. Put the knee kicker about 2 inches away from the edge, and it'll just slide right up on there. You can see how it finished it off real nice. It's very important that you wear your knee pads because it protects your kneecap, and your kneecap is very sensitive. That's how guys have bad knees doing this. So you have your armor on your kneecap, and then your kicks are with the largest muscle on your body, which is your thighs. If you kick with your thighs, you won't ever have any knee problems. Then you continue over here, and you want to get this all in the edges. Now we'll run into a little bit of trouble. That's when you grab out your hammer, and put that corner down in. That tucks down there really nice. And you want to lock this in as well, so it holds the stretch. You know what you want to do? So you want to take your stair tool, palm down, and you want to lock it on those teeth. And you put pressure on it. And what you want to do is step on it. Get those teeth locked down so it doesn't come up, and it holds our stretch. Now, this corner part, before you release the tension, you want to lock it in the edge. Like so. That way it holds it right there. Then you can release the tension, and how you do that, you just push down on the handle. The little lever goes up. Keep it locked in place over there, don't pull it up, and you're just going to move it over one head space. Now if you get over here, you can see I'm really too close to the wall here. So what you do is, this is an adjusting head. Push these buttons, and it'll go back a little bit. Drop it in place so those teeth go through. Give it a good stretch. Don't be afraid to stretch it, but don't overstretch it. You can rip the carpet. But you just want to make sure that you got those wrinkles out. You can see the sections that we've done so far, the wrinkles are gone. What you want to do is lock it in place so it's holding all the work we just did. Be really careful with this hammer. If you hit yourself in the hand, you'll never do it again. You can go a little bit past the head. And then what I'll do, a lot of times, before I release the head with the handle, I'll just step on it, make sure it's holding. Okay. Now this is the handle that I'm talking about on the head, so it helps you set this into the carpet. Keep the pressure on it. When you get down here and you need to go up a little bit, it's got an adjusting head so you can adjust it a little bit. Drop your head, do your stretch. You want to be careful that you don't buckle it over here too much. You got to manipulate this carpet. Put the lock on, and then same thing. The higher up you go on this carpet, the more that you have to tuck down in there. You're tucking it between the tack strip and the baseboard. I left enough room so I can step on it. Release your pressure with the handle. Voila. What we got is a little bit of a pooch here. So what you do, take your knee kicker, kick that in, have your tools ready to go. So when you kick it, keep your pressure on your knee so it holds it in place. Your knee's kind of like the spike. Takes care of that little bubble.
Once you understand the basic concept of how to do a restretch, then it's really simple. You just got to come up with the most creative way using common sense to solve the problem. Where are you going to put the wrinkles? That's the trick. And then you just keep repeating the same steps along the wall over and over again and again until you've actually completed the restretch.
This section here, we don't have as many wrinkles, so we're going to shorten up the pulls, and I'll show you how to use it. You can use this particular technique for a lot of situations when the wrinkles are a lot closer to the edge. Okay, what you want to do is take off the adjusting pole. You have a little short pole, put it on, take the spike off the other end, put the spike back on, and this will just tighten everything up. You can use your foot to hold the spike in, stretch it a little, lock it in place. Then same thing. Voila. Now what you want to do is get your corner in. If there's a little bit right here, angle it in. Now this, I'm actually going to knee kick. What you want to do is get your carpet underneath that baseboard first. Once you get it under there, it's a little poochy.
Be about 2 inches away. Kick it up, push it down with your hands. You gotta give it a pretty good kick with your thigh. Make sure that this is completely extended. Just move it over about every 5 inches. Take your stair tool, lock it down, pull out any of the fuzz. You want to make it look clean. If you leave fuzz, you'll get a callback. It's crazy. Then step on it. Now if you have excess like this that's too much to fit underneath here, you take your bloody, you pull this back, and you cut it. But I've got just enough that I think it'll push through into the baseboards real nice. Start on one edge. That big chunk right there? Make sure you don't break their baseboard. You gotta have it angled just right. If you got it angled at the baseboard, you're gonna crack the baseboard. You gotta have it right in there.
Be sure that you pick out all the little pieces of carpet fibers along the edges and tuck your edges in perfectly, because if you don't, you will get a callback.
Now you gotta lock all this underneath. Really nice. 2. So everything's really tight. Careful of your bloody. They'll bite you. Fuzzies, get them out. You don't want to draw any attention to your work. Sure it's all tucked in there real nice. Alright.
After you have your carpet installed, then what you can do is take your power stretcher with the shortest pole and the spike, and you can power stretch the carpet underneath the baseboard, and it'll go in about maybe 2 inches, possibly 3, depending on how loose the carpet still is. And you want to just move it about the head width of the power stretcher all along the wall. And if you do this, you are going to end up with a drum tight carpet. Go around all of the edges, all of the walls. If you follow all these steps, then your ReStretch will turn out awesome. The customer will love you, you'll get repeat business, and you'll become somebody who is known for going out there and repairing and correcting situations like this. Final step, take your stair tool and attach the carpet fibers to the tack strip, and then step along the edges. Nice job! Now put the vents back. Then go and tell the customer that you've completed the work and that you would recommend that they get their carpets hot water extracted. They're supposed to get their carpets cleaned every 6 to 12 months according to the IICRC for health reasons. But when you do a ReStretch, you want to do it because then it will also take care of the wrinkles, because what has happened is soil has built up in the wrinkle area, so that when you clean the carpet, it will turn out even more beautiful.
Now this next job, I don't want you to be intimidated by this because it's really easy to do. If you just follow the steps, you're going to find out that you can do it too. Now I know it's going to look like Frankenstein, but you know what? It all works out in the end, so check it out.
Okay, what we got here is 1, 2, 3 wrinkles in the hallway. Now this is a simple procedure, but it takes a specific technique, and I'm going to show you how to do it.
Okay, take your straight edge and put it on either the left side or the right side of your main wrinkle. And we're going to take our straight edge and we're going to actually split this hallway in half. The reason we're using the straight edge, so that way we can get a really clean cut, so when we seam this back together, it's going to turn out really nice. Now don't be afraid to do this. This is really simple. Just follow the steps and you won't have any problems. And you can always rewind this DVD and watch it over and over. It's really important that you make this cut all the way through the primary and secondary backing your first attempt. So you might want to practice on other pieces of carpet before you do something like this, but you want to get through on your first attempt. This way you're going to end up with a much better seam. Then take your carpet awl and you're going to pull the pieces of carpet apart, and we're going to cut out probably 2 to 3 inches of this carpet and seam it back together. And you only want to use this process when there's no other way to get rid of the wrinkles. If you can't put it at one end or the other, then this will be the best process for the job. Now don't be intimidated by this. You could watch this DVD over and over. You could rewind it. You know what you could do? You could bring one of those little DVD players, set it right by your tools, and I could tell you exactly how to do it step by step as though I was there. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the power stretcher and I'm sticking the spike into the subfloor, and I have it on one of the short pulls. And now I'm stretching the carpet to get rid of the wrinkle in that one area, and I'm going to put the carpet underneath the piece of carpet that we just cut in half. And then I'm going to nail it into place. This will all come together, and we're going to just keep repeating the same process until we get to the point where we seam this together. So now that I've got my stretch in that one area, so I'm actually taking the tack nails and I'm hammering them into the subfloor. Now I'm hammering them in really good so that they'll hold the carpet in place, since I made a pretty strong stretch. Now you don't want to hammer them in so well that you can't get them out. You want to make sure that when you have to take them out, that you can actually use your hammer and be able to remove them. Some of your carpet installers will actually take an extra piece of carpet if it's available. They'll flip it over with the tufts down and the primary backing on top, and they'll hammer their tack nails into the primary backing, that extra piece, so it's easier to remove it. You can just grab that piece and just rip it right up when it's time to go. You want to make sure that when you put these tack nails in, you're going to leave them once you seam this together and clean over it, and the last thing you want to do is remove those tack nails. So I'm going to make sure that I put these about every 2 to 3 inches so that it really holds that carpet in place, because I don't want it to move when I take the power stretcher off. Now I'm going to take the power stretcher, I'm going to drop it onto the carpet so I get through the primary and secondary backing. I'm going to make my stretch, push my little lever with my thumb, and repeat the process. Do you see how simple this process is? All I'm doing is taking the power stretcher and I'm stretching the wrinkle, I'm nailing it down, and then I'm taking the power stretcher, I'm stretching the wrinkle, and then I'm nailing it down, and then I'm taking the power stretcher and I'm stretching the wrinkle and I'm nailing it down, and I'm going to do this exact same process on the other side. And then what I'm doing is I'm stretching this piece of carpet underneath the other piece of carpet, and then we're going to do a trace cut, and we're going to cut out about a 2-inch piece of carpet. You'll see in just a second. It's really easy to do. Don't be intimidated by this. Remember, you can have your little DVD player just sitting there right by you, and I can be your coach telling you exactly how to do it step by step. But just watch this video. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm taking the power stretcher, releasing it. Now I'm going to move it, and then I'm going to stretch the wrinkle. And my pull is long enough to reach past the 2 wrinkles that were in the hallway there. And I'm putting the spike into the subfloor, and I stretched the carpet, I nailed it down, and now I'm on the other side. So I'm going to release the carpet along the wall, because remember, if the carpet is installed along the wall where you're stretching, you're not going to be able to get those wrinkles out, because that is going to be holding those wrinkles in place. That's a secret. Take your power stretcher and let's stretch the other side. Sink your spike into the subfloor, make your stretch, grab your tack nails, and now let's flatten down the carpet. You got to make sure that you do that, otherwise you're not going to end up taking out the wrinkles. So flatten out the carpet, put your nails into the subfloor so that you can hold your stretch in place. Now we're just doing the exact same thing that we did on the other side, on this side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to make our cut. Now you'll notice that I actually left enough space between the nails in the middle there so that I can fit my seam iron and I can actually fit my seam tape in there. You don't want to put those nails too close to the edge, because then you'll have to start all over because you won't be able to get your seam iron in there. So you want to leave maybe about 8 to 10 inches between those two so that you can actually seam it. Now we're going to just continue with this process, and I'm letting you watch the whole thing because, you know, this is a little tricky of a repair, and I want you to have a lot of confidence in your ability to do this. So I don't want to cut too much of this repair out. I want you to be able to see almost from beginning to end how it works out. Now I'm going to take my power stretcher and I'm going to stretch on an angle. I can't stretch straight on like I did in the center there, because otherwise the carpet will do something really weird. So I'm going to stretch on an angle, and you know what? It's just finesse. It's just really feeling the power stretcher, how far you need to stretch it, how far you don't need to stretch it, and then once you get it into place, there's that little lever, remember? Just lock it into place and it'll hold your stretch. Now push your carpet down flat. Then once again, put your nails into place. And you really want to pay attention that you're getting into the subfloor, because if you're just getting into the primary and secondary backing and the pad, and then when you take that power stretcher off, it's just going to release the stretch that you just did, and so you did all that work for nothing. Now what I'm doing is I'm attaching the carpet to the tack strip along the baseboard, because that's going to hold our stretch. So that way when I seam the carpet together, it's not going to pull apart the seam that I just did. Then step on it, and what you're doing is you're pushing the little spikes that are in the tack strip into the primary and secondary backing, locking that into place even better. So let's move on. Now you want to dig out all of the little pieces, the carpet fibers, any padding, any primary backing out of the seam area, because what we're going to do is we're going to get this prepared so that we can cut out the wrinkle. Now you're going to take your carpet knife, make sure you have a fresh blade, and you want to go through the primary and secondary backing in one shot. Be very careful with that carpet knife because it will split your thumb open. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a trace cut. I'm just following the straight edge of the piece of carpet that's on top, and I have the wrinkle tucked underneath the top piece of carpet, and I'm just going to follow that straight edge and I'm going to cut out the wrinkle. Sometimes you don't make it in one cut, so you have to go back in with your carpet knife and you got to trim out a few little pieces here and there in order to get the entire piece out. You know, just take your time and relax, pay attention to what you're doing. It's really simple to do, and then you'll get the entire piece out. Now let's cut from the other side. We only got to cut maybe another 2 feet into the seam area. And so once again, just take your carpet knife, and you want to put a lot of body weight and pressure on top of that carpet knife without breaking the blade, so you can get through the primary and secondary backing. And you just follow the edge of the carpet. It's really simple to do. It's a trace cut. And now we got the piece out, and we want to get ready to seam the carpet.
Now once you cut out your piece of carpet, that's pretty much the wrinkle that was in the hallway. We just cut it out. Then you got these two pieces that you're going to seam together real nice. You cut your seam tape to fit, and you make sure this orange line or red line, blue line, whatever color it is, goes in the middle of your seam. You stick this underneath. Just like so. Now we're ready to seam it. Now what you need is you need your star roller. You need your seam iron turned on. You want to have it between 3 and 4. That's a good temperature to have. You want your seam weight. You want your knee kicker. So if you have to make any adjustments, you can use your knee kicker. Now the way the seam iron is designed, you got a flat, really thin area on the handle here, and then you got a really thick area on the handle here. The thick area, that's the way you want it to go, so it's separating the seam, and then it's coming together at the thin area. You got this little thing in the back where you can put the cord anywhere you want it, so you want to put it on that side. Have your seam weight ready to go, and you don't have a lot of time. You just want to make sure, take your star roller, you want to make sure that you don't melt your carpet. Make sure your seam tape doesn't move on you. If you can, kind of hold the carpet off of it for a little bit so you don't melt it. That's the last thing you want to do. Let it sit there. Now you don't want to overheat it because then you melt all of the adhesive off. You don't want to underheat it because then all of a sudden, and you want to get your tray down at the bottom where you're going to end up at. You don't want to underheat it because then the glue won't stick. As soon as this thing can actually slide pretty evenly or pretty easily, you just kind of look at your glue and you just want it kind of clear melted, not black. I see we're looking good. Okay. Now our camera just shut off, but what I did was I star rolled over here and attached this, and I tucked it in the edge. Then you bring your seam weight over, and so that way it's holding down that seam. Move it up a little bit, 1 iron length. Make sure you have your tufts out of the way. Bring the 2 pieces together, pinch them together. Sometimes you got to take your knee kicker and manipulate it to get it nice and tight, but the tighter the seam, the better. Then take your star roller and put your body weight on it so it's attaching itself to that seam tape. Okay. Now by the time I've done that, this is ready to go again. Move it 1 length. We got some glue right there. You don't want that in the way, so I'll cut that out real quick. Pinch it together. You want to try to make it look invisible. Star roll it up real hard. Put your body weight on it. Then seam weight.
Okay, we're almost finished, so slide the seam iron one more time along the seam tape, and then bring those edges really close together without overlapping. That's the secret. You want those edges really tight. Grab your star roller, put a lot of body weight on it, and attach that carpet to the seam tape, and then put your seam weight in place.
Now we're at the very end here. And it's ready to go. Slide it out, put it in your tray, get your tray out of the way, bring your pieces together. Now this one I need to adjust it a little bit with the knee kicker so I can bring them together nice and tight. Then star roll hard because that's what sticks it to the back. Seam weight it. Piece of cake. Then what you want to do is you want to unplug your seam iron. Go put it on the concrete outside so it can cool down because it's really smoky and stinky. Just kind of move your seam weight around on this. Then you want to leave the nails because the last thing that you want to do is pull those nails up. Then put the carpet back along the edges. And when you're next to tile, like this is tile, make sure you use your rubber mallet so that way you have a lot of control when you're putting this back. Because if you just try to go boom, 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 you're going to chip the tile. And then we're going to have to pay a lot of money. So be really careful when you're near tile. Really pay attention. Once you got it in, you can just take it and run it along the edges. Get all your fuzz out of the way. So that way if there's any other little pieces, you want to make it look nice and clean. Like it was freshly installed. I got a little bit of a pooch here. So my knee kicked up a little bit. Push it down with my thumbs. We got a pretty nice job. Now you can see that the wrinkles are gone. Worked out really good. We didn't even have to mess with that closet. But if you have any troubles like with the closet and it's still poofy there, what you do is open up that closet door and knee kick the little poofiness into the edges of the closet. And sometimes you have to kick it in there and just countersink some nails all the way down to the primary backing past the carpet tufts, so it's hidden, and you're just like a doctor. You know, it's nip, tuck, hide, smoke and mirror, just to make it look really good. But you can see all those wrinkles are gone now. It looks tight, and once we clean this carpet, it's going to look perfect. Now what you want to do is you want to leave the nails in place while you're doing everything else, so it's holding that stretch, and that seam tape can actually cure. And so the very last thing that you do is take those nails up. You even clean over them. You know, when you're cleaning, don't tear up your seam, so you got to go pretty quickly over that. But you clean over it, and when you pack up your whole van, that's the last thing that you do is pull those nails. Take your knee kicker and kick it into place, and then push it down with your thumbs. When you come and do your cleaning, make sure when you do your carpet cleaning, make sure that you don't pull this up. Once you've done that, step on it. You can actually hear it going into the teeth. Voila. Make sure when you get done with a job you don't leave these razor blades just laying around that a little kid can get a hold of and cut their fingers or swallow them. You want to make sure you always, before you leave, clean up your whole mess. Another thing too, don't take these on your van. Ask them if they got a trash can and dispose of them in the trash can. Okay, what we got is we got this big hutch here. You have your furniture jack. What you do is you slide this underneath the hutch, get your furniture slider under, and we're having to move this because we're doing a ReStretch in this room. And then look how simple this is to get it out of your way. Okay, Chad will go down here and you can kind of see the wrinkles. I don't know if it'll show up on the film.
I can see them.
But what we're going to do is we're going to stretch it into that wall. Okay, what you want to do is you want to grab your tool bag, so it has your stair tool, your rubber mallet, your carpet awl. You want to take your carpet awl over to this corner. And you want to get this carpet up. Because you got to get it off the edges here, otherwise it won't stretch in. And let's see, there was a little bit of a stretch right here. This way you can make it nice and tight. Voila! Next thing you want to do is you want to grab your power stretcher head and a pole. Spike. This right here, if you push in the two buttons, it'll push forward. Then when you get it out here, you take this little handle right here, stick it in the ground, and then you can move it forward because it's got a clicking action. Drop the head on the carpet, get your stretch, push this little lever right here, it holds it. Take the carpet, shove it in with your stair tool. This one's a tight fit. So you gotta use your rubber mallet on this one. Some carpets you don't have to. Just goes right under. Once you get it in, lock the teeth on the tack strip with your stair tool. And then you notice that there's a little bit of a bump right here. What you do is you take your knee kicker. I'm making a training video.
I get free training. It's great.
Yeah, no doubt.
How much do I have to pay to get you to leave that?
Yeah, no kidding.
I could get it on the internet and be selling it by morning.
There you go. We'll make you a copy.
eBay.
That way you can flatten out the bubble so it'll all turn out nice and smooth. It looks like I'm having to take it all the way to the corner. Once you get it smoothed out, put all your weight on that stair tool. Click it on the tack strip. Now you got that part in. What you do is you just push down on your handle. It releases it. Now you can move over one more head. And fortunately, the wrinkle's not so bad in this area. I'm going to be able to knee kick this. We'll save the power stretcher for when we get over to a harder spot. Get that carpet underneath. Be really careful not to damage their trim. Then we run into some wrinkles right here. But we take, now that you just put that under, just tighten it up a bit. And you hold the knee kicker about 2 inches away. Once you move it up, push it down with your thumbs. You gotta blast it pretty good. Then lock it down. Make sure that you're hitting the pad right here with your thigh, not your knee. The guys that don't know what they're doing, they use their knee and then they have knee problems. Now here's where we got a wrinkle. And your knee kicker's not going to work. So get it stuck in. There's a little bit of a bubble right here. What you want to do is take the knee kicker on the side and put it in, and then shove it under there. You want it nice and tight and professional. All the edges under. Take it, lock it on. I think we're looking pretty good on those sides. Ooh. Once you get it tucked under, do the same thing. 2 inches away from the baseboard, give it a good kick, and tighten it up. Push it down with your thumbs. Lock it into place. Now what we have is we have these wrinkles over here in the hallway, and when you get to the corner like this, you gotta do it at an angle. A slight angle. Otherwise it won't turn out right. So what you do, get it stuck in that floor, set it down, and we're going to have to do a pretty nice stretch on this. Get it locked into place. And if you can notice, I stretched this about 2 inches. I gave it a good stretch. Then get over here. And nail it. Get it poked in there so it is at least holding. Like so. You want it to at least hold. Because you're not going to be able to fit all that carpet underneath there. Then grab your bloody.
Why do they call it a bloody, George?
Because this thing has 2 edges and it will cut your finger wide open. So be really careful with this. Make sure you got a nice fresh blade. Now you notice I got about 2 inches sticking out here. It's not all going to fit underneath there. So you got to cut some of this off. So just peel the carpet back. Like so. Then you can get it under there. Now I'm scratching up the baseboards with the back of the carpet, and you're going to want to take a white towel that's a little wet, wipe them all down. And this takes some effort. To get it down, actually release the pressure, move this over here, grab your knee kicker so you can tuck it under even more. 2 inches away, give it a good kick, push, give it a good kick, push with your thumb, and what you're doing is you're locking it on the teeth of that tack screw. Once you get it locked down, once you get it kicked in, you want to put some pressure, lock it into place. Okay. And then, now right here, come on, baby. You want to do the exact same thing. Just get it tacked down. You got all this carpet. Get that out of the way. Move it. Tighten it up. You can hear it sticking in the back of that primary backing. You gotta put your body weight on it. Get it tacked down. Wrinkles are almost gone. Now, over here, I don't think we have too many wrinkles. But I might do a little bit of stretch. Right in the middle here. Now I'm not stretching as hard this time. Because I don't need it. It's all finesse. You just gotta use common sense. Some areas are gonna need more stretching than others. I'm taking that big piece off because I really needed the stretch mostly over there. Watch your bloody. Get your knee kicker. Voila. Now the last little part, it's a little tricky because you got a little bit of a bubble right here because you've stretched the carpet kind of funny. So what you do here, get this all in. Be careful with this rubber mallet, you don't want to hit your fist. If you do it, you'll never do it again. When you're just starting out, you'll do it. Everybody does. Just like your dad said, keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on your stair tool. And make sure you're angling your stair tool underneath the baseboard, because if you're going directly at the baseboard, you're going to split it down here on the edge. So you got to make sure you're angling it underneath. Now we got a little bit of a bubble here. So, what you do, get all that edge under there. So that way you can manipulate this. Take that bubble out. That's nice.
It's real nice.
Yeah, baby. Now what you want to do is you want to come back here to where the wrinkle is, and what's happening is the carpet is gradually moving that way. And to help it move that way, get back here where the wrinkle is, and just kind of help it. like this. That's what your scissors are for. It's just primary backing. You don't want to leave those because then it looks like you didn't do a professional job.
Because if it was easy, then anybody could do it,
That's right, dude.
and we'd be out of a job.
That's right. And then go up here. Get all your edges tucked in. Sometimes at the corner here, it'll start to bubble or something, and you have to cut like a little 1-inch slit because we move the carpet that way. You'll get a little bit of a pucker. You just knee kick that into that edge there. Put it down. Now what I'll do is, because the wrinkle's right here, I got a nice wall right here, I'm going to help it out. Then lock it down. Then once we steam clean this, what you want to do is you always want to try to get the customer to let you clean the carpet after you do a ReStretch, because then it'll steam this out, make it look really killer. So ReStretch.
Look at that. The dirt just disappearing before your eyes.
Look at that before and after line. That's gnarly.
You could write your name in this.
Just so you can see, this job was $582 with the carpet cleaning and the ReStretch, and it was done in 2 hours and 45 minutes. One other thing too, the customer was ecstatic, thrilled. So that's what we're going for, not just speed, but quality of work.
Now I can tell you that they did both of my houses, and I'm impressed.
All right.
Good job.
Thanks,
Way to go.
John.
I'd even tell my mother about you. How about that?
All right.
In North Carolina? She's in North Carolina.
Thanks, John.
All right.
All right.
Now those were some great jobs, but I'm not here to entertain you. I want you to go out there and take some wrinkles out yourself. Go get the tools that you need and dive right in. Then log on to my website at carpetcleaningtradesecrets.com, go to the products page, and I want to hear that you're taking wrinkles out. And I want to know that these videos are really helping you. And I'm going to come out with a ReStretch DVD Part 2 and Part 3 in high definition quality. Now remember, winners never quit and quitters never win. Now go out there and make me proud.